Gunfreaknation. It's the president, TElectrik. Um, I just need to talk to you for a minute, about what's going on. You know, as the weather is getting warmer, is the savages are getting even more crazier. The hotter it get, the crazier these savages get. And I need y'all to be on your P's and on your Q's. You know what I'm saying? If you can, righteously be armed. Uh, Life is crazy right now. People, you could be doing your typical, errands, going to the car wash, going to the grocery, store, grabbing you a snack or something, going to the restaurants, and you will not make it back if you're not being precautious, if you're not being savage ready, if you're not being aware of your environment. It's called situational awareness. Go out, you never ever make it back home, and in some cases, even when you're in your home, if you're not being savage ready, the savages will bring the fight to you. you know what you need to realize is that we living in a savage world, man. We living in a wicked world, a system designed by Satan himself, the devil himself. And as it says in the Bible, sell your cloak and buy you a sword. That's what you got to do. In modern daytime, sell whatever valuable that you willing to part ways with and buy you a gun. That's the only way you're going to be able to stand a chance. Okay? It doesn't make you Superman. It doesn't make you invincible. But what it does make you, it gives you the benefit of being able to fight back. The benefit of being able to protect your life and defend your family and defend your life. That's what a gun, the power of a gun, brings to the table. The almighty equalizer. Because when they come in, I guarantee you, they will be well. They will be well armed themselves. Life is what it is. We gonna have our peaks and we gonna have our valleys. Some of us are down in the valley right now. Even at the top, when you're in the peaks, it's still the devil was up there too. And he's a sneaky, creepy, disgusting, vile, evil person. And we gotta keep him off our backs. You hear me? We gotta keep him off your back, because once he get on your back, man, ain't no coming back. You feel me? So we gotta be righteously armed to take these heathens, these devils, these these demonic savages, tools of the devil that is trying to form against us. But what they say in the Bible it says, you know, if you believe, no weapon, formed against you shall prosper. So once when you have that faith and that conviction, um, they won't prevail. Evil will not prevail, but just don't get it twisted though. You got to get down and dirty and low down in them trenches and fight a good fight against, Satan's army. Fight a good fight against Satan's the minions. We living in a time right now where anything and everything could break out at any time. You know, I still say it's another war that's going to be that will be happening, rather soon than later. And that war is going to be the war in the Middle East. I believe that it's going to be a war. I believe that Israel will attack Iran. They have defeated Hamas. They have defeated Hezbollah, and the only enemy that they have that is left, and they got them down on their knees, is Iran. And the war is going to kick off because Iran know this. And Iran know that the only what's the word I'm trying to say? The only deterrent that they will have is if they have a nuclear bomb, a nuclear warhead, nuclear missiles. If they can have that, that would be the deterrent where the regime will survive. Believe me or not, Iran is rushing to get to that point to where they can assemble a nuclear bomb. That's the only insurance that they will have against Israel, the United States, and whoever else that want to join in to attack them. You know, Israel looking at it like this. Look, you send your proxy groups over there. Hezbollah is merely a puppet. It's a proxy group. Hamas, a proxy group of Iran. They have been defeated. So the only entity that's left really over there is Iran. You think Israel and the United States is going to allow them to have a nuclear bomb? Hell no, they will bomb them back into the Stone Ages before they let that happen. Mark my words, it will be another war. And the United States will be involved. Okay? So don't get it twisted and think that when this war pop off, when it starts, do not think that Iran didn't send terror cells, probably military, probably the Quds Force. Don't think that the United States was not infiltrated when we had wide open borders for the last 4 years under the previous administration. So when that war breaks out, I do believe that it will be war right here in the United States, in the streets of America. I do believe that the terrorist cells that Iran didn't have to smuggle over here, they just crossed the border. Pretty much, the previous administration welcomed them over there. I just think that the shit will hit the fan. When that war starts, the terrorist cells will be activated, and it will be blood. It will be, urban warfare right here in the streets of the United States, in the cities, in the towns. I have sources, deep in, the military. And training that has already begun. A lot of this is not being broadcast on the news because they don't want people to they don't want mass hysteria. They don't want people to go to panicking. You feel me? But the Gunfreak Nation, I want to know, what would you do in a situation where we got urban and rural warfare? Because from what I'm hearing, that these terror cells, it's not about hostages anymore. It's about body counts. Who can inflict the most, unaliving of people, man. So therefore, any place that have a lot of people a population of a lot of people, any establishment, any, we talking about the movie theaters, we talking about the Walmarts, we talking about the Myers, we talking about public places where people, congregate and gather, all those places will be potential targets, because what is coming will be a mass casualty event in the style of the October 7th attack, when Hamas, invaded Israel, and when they saw how successful, believe it or not, the initial attack was successful, and they want to do an October 7th style attack in the United States on U.S. citizens. This is why I say, not only be armed against these regular, everyday American savages, you got to be armed and ready for the terrorists, the terror cells that have infiltrated into this country. So, Gun Freak Nation, listen, I want to know, what would you do? Most people be like, well, you need to get out of the cities, go into the country, man, where you got land and stuff and you can set up. I mean, that's all good. If you can do that, then do that. Because I'm talking about, how many of y'all remember the movie Red Dawn? Huh? How many of y'all remember that movie Red Dawn, where we got invaded by Russia? Then in the remake, it was North Korea. I just think that we are already invaded, man. Think about it. The border had been wide open for the last 4 years due to the previous administration. So who knows what how many, it's speculated that it's thousands of terrorists are here. And what I want to know is, what can you do on October 7th in Israel in 2023, October 7th? You had groups of heavily armed terrorists going, invading neighborhoods, going door to door, kicking in, and just going in and just unaliving, doing the devil's work, unaliving people. Of all places, I never would have thought Israel would have been strict as far as gun laws. You wasn't even allowed to own a gun in the environment, in the neighborhood that they living in, where they're surrounded by people that hate them. Why would they have such a stupid policy? And that policy showed how stupid it was on October 7th, when those people didn't even have a weapon to defend themselves, when terrorists were literally kicking down their doors, smoking them out. And if they, the ones that may have had a gun, which was 0 to 9 pretty much, that was hunkered down in their bunkers and, in their safe rooms in their homes, they smoked them out by setting the house on fire. And they didn't have no choice whether to burn up or come out and face immediate execution by these terrorists. So can you imagine the terror? And these people are frantically calling 911. They version of 911 over there. Nobody came to save them. Nobody came to rescue them, because the police was so inundated with phone calls and they was being attacked themselves. So those people were left on their own to fend for themselves. And a lot of them was unalived, because they was counting on the government. They was counting on local police. They was counting on their army to come to their rescue and save them. And it never happened. So this tells you, Gun Freak Nation, if something pop off in the United States, Who's going to save you if you can't save yourself? How is the police going to come when they themselves are fighting for their lives and under attack by these terrorists? Something to think about, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to be armed. So I'm not talking about everyday savages. I'm talking about rail trained professional terrorists that want to cause some type of mass casualty event, man. The higher the body count, the more successful the mission is. So what I would like to know is, what do you have? What is the contingency plan, y'all? Because people, you need to get out of the cities, get to some land, I just think, me personally, if you can do that, and I've got Gun Freak Nation members that live, fortunately, like in Texas and in Georgia, and they got acres and acres of land. They said, T, if shit ever hit the fan, you more than welcome. But I think we need to put together some type of network, where when it do happen, everybody can have a meeting place. Until then, if you in the hood, if you in the cities, then you need to link up with like-minded people and be like, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to link up here. We're going to set up a perimeter, even in your neighborhood, because I don't care how many guns you got. I don't care how much ammo you got. I don't care how much food you don't stock. If it's surrounded by hundreds of terrorists, you just a sitting duck, because they're going to eventually smoke you out by setting your house on fire. And you're going to have two options: burn up or get terminated when you're trying to leave from that flaming house. In a situation like that, you don't want to be in this. You don't want to ever be hunkered down in your house and it's surrounded. So I would personally set up a parameter. Like, if you got neighbors, you set up a parameter in that neighborhood. Set up checkpoints. Nobody comes through that checkpoint. Be ready to defend that perimeter. That's the only way, because if they breach your neighborhood and they go on door to door, I feel like it's already too late, because it's going to be multiple heavily armed terrorists, and you may have your handgun or you may have your AR. But even then, in a situation like that, when you're dealing with 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, terrorists, and they all surrounding your house, you got the disadvantage. So it's just crazy, man. I want to hear from y'all, Gun Freak Nation. In that scenario, what would happen? I called it the new Red Dawn. The new Red Dawn. Y'all need to get really armed up and, just come up with contingency plans. Don't expect the government to come and help you. Don't expect the government to come and save you. Do the best you can to save yourself. And it's messed up that we're dealing with criminals. But now, if this war happened, and when it ain't no if, it's a matter of when it happens, it will be blowback. By that I mean it will be consequences. Yeah, it will be consequences. So it's just food for thought, man. When this shit break out, I need y'all to be ready for it. Okay? I love you, Gun Freak Nation. Hear me out. Stay righteous. It's a spiritual warfare that's happening. We got these demons out here, man. These savages. We got a war that is a future war that is coming. And I'm telling you, it will be consequences. It's going to make its way back. They here. You cannot tell me that terrorist cells are not here. They are here. But anyway, Gun Freak Nation, listen. I need y'all to stay armed, stay responsible with your firearms. You know, stay righteous and be ready to do what you got to do. Send that funky ass savage to Funky Town when it try you. I love you. Salute.